Okay. All right. Well, good afternoon. My name is Phil Ranck, and I'm from Lean, Alaska. Clearly, as in the title, I live in Alaska as well. 24-year veteran. I was in the military as a logistician. Um, through that through that service, got connected to Lean Six Sigma, change management, Scrum, and various types of process improvement and project management techniques. Once I transitioned, found that that's probably more of an obsession than it is a passion at this point in this field. And what I love more than anything was the training aspect of it and sharing that knowledge. So that's where we're at now. Lean Alaska trains and certifies in Lean Six Sigma of all levels in change management, in Scrum, and other various project management techniques. Um, I won't say the primary focus is military, but that's probably our largest population right now is those in service, in transition, looking to either move up in their current career through promotion or make that transition into the civilian world. So we're here to prepare them for that, break through that paper ceiling as we've learned this term. But I'm here with Derek Collier, and I want to pass the puck to him.
Hey there, my name is Derek Collier. I work with workforce development. I work with transitional age youth, age 16 to 24, mature workforce, age 55 and up. Physical or cognitive barriers to employment is another talent pool that is its own. Just as involved is ban the box type individuals. We need our felon friendlies that are out there. Veterans for many, many moons, spouses and caretakers. You know someone from workforce development when they add a whole bunch of commas to veterans, spouses, caretakers, reservists, Coast Guard counts. So workforce development is where I'm at with my career. I'm working with the community resource, which helps our people to get credentialed with either the Sigma 6 methodologies, Lean or Scrum. So I'm very blessed to be able to talk a little bit about what active duty can do
Mhm.
and spouses to move forward and advance themselves before they get out.
Mhm.
So I'm very grateful to you, Phil, for working with me today and talking a little bit about what you offer, the differences between the programs that are available. And I look forward to being able to work with you moving forward on some of the employers that are looking for this talent.
Awesome. That's great.
With
That's
that
great.
being said, as I understand, yellow, green, and black belts is usually something they can earn with it when they're still in the military.
Mhm.
Usually starts off with yellow and greens.
Mhm.
For someone that's never been exposed to the belts, can you tell me a little bit about why employers want it so much?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are, as he mentioned, belt levels. There's four primary belt levels. You have white, yellow, green, black, and then this unicorn at the top are these master black belts, but we're not focused on those guys right now. The white, yellow, green, and black. So the reason that employers look for it, the whole genesis of Lean Six Sigma and what it does for an organization is if you've ever been in a situation, say, why does this cost so much money? Why does this take so long to do this? Or why do we do this differently every time that we do it? Lean Six Sigma is the answer to that. It's the systematic roadmap of how we look at a process. We identify non-value added or waste, things that we waste time doing. It teaches you how to identify variation or inconsistencies, and it teaches us how to find the defects. Not only find them and identify them, but systematically remove them without trying to do it over and over and over again. If we're going to recommend an action for change, it's going to be tested and validated through data and statistics as opposed to let's try it today to see if it works. So employers look for that because they want to take deliberate action. A lot of employers don't have extra money to keep trying something over and over again with an unproven action or an unknown result. So we train, and process improvement certifications are the ones that give us that deliberate action to take with a validated result that they're looking for. So we're saving them time, we're saving them money, and we're saving or improving their quality, which ultimately drives their profit margins.
Good. And then as I approach it from an active duty lens, most active duty have been approached or have access to the greens and yellows. And then usually black is something that would be offered outside of the military, whereas veterans with their DD 214s already
Mhm.
may have a little bit more time to invest in black. Can you tell me about a successful progression or the differences between time?
Yeah, absolutely. So active duty is the best time because you get the chance not only to use resources, and I'll hit those resources real quick here in a minute, but not only do you have access to resources, but you have access to an organization that allows you to grow and learn how to become process improvement or Lean Six Sigma or even Scrum or change management, some of those connective certifications. While you're active, there are some services. Air Force, Marines have phenomenal Greenbelt programs. The Army program is good as well. And they primarily go to Greenbelt, as mentioned, not really beyond. That's where the extension comes from. Um, Army has a black belt program. It's kind of diminished over the years, so it's a lot harder to find. It's very hidden. So on the outside, what we do and where we come in is my time in the military taught me how to do this in the military as well as now my industry time. So with our program, it's built to either refresh what you know in that white, yellow, green space and then build on it to black belt. But our program, especially our black belt program, is also designed to take somebody that's had zero exposure. If you couldn't find a way to access it while you were in service, we have the program that takes you from zero exposure to a black belt over about a 4 to 6 week time period through the course that we have. It starts off at the very beginning, giving you basic language and structure, and then moves into the tools and skills that get you to that point of being a certified black belt.
Okay, so let's talk about funding a little bit.
Yeah.
So over the last 5 weeks, this video is being recorded the day the shutdown ended. So when it comes to funding and having issues, VA hasn't been able to work in tandem with Department of Labor.
Yeah.
So GI Bill type inquiries, if that hasn't been discussed at the time of watching this presentation, do you provide a little bit of support on first steps and next steps on getting that GA Bill
Oh,
in the house?
100%. So yeah, so especially, while you're active, your aperture is a little bit larger. So there is a cool program that the military has for credentialing support while you're on active duty. Each branch of service uses it a little differently. Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, Army. They all have a cool or credentialing assistance program that is funding that you can use that does not connect to your GI Bill. It does not connect any of your veteran benefits. It does not come out of your unit pocket. Each one of them, again, use that a little differently, but we have the roadmap through that. And we're with you every single step of the way from the day you say, I'm interested in training until forever, because once you're with us, it's lifetime access. Marines and Navy, they're a little different. They cannot use the cool program to pay for training, so they become a little more limited. Now, beyond the active duty using that cool program is the GI Bill, as Derek mentioned, and that covers all branches of services. And yes, we have the process. We have the process on how you apply for the post 9/11, Chapter 33. If you've never applied for it, we walk you through the application. If you have applied for it and you use it, we walk you through the registration process that will get them to pay for the training. If you have transferred it to a spouse or dependent and you need to recall 2 months of that training so you can use that, we provide that as well. We also give you information on Chapter 35, which is the DEA for our transitioners that are P&T 100%. Your spouse and dependents have another 36 months, which means you can use your Chapter 33 to advance your career. We also do VR&E. We also have My CAA. So, I mean, we also, not that it helps with training, but if you're pre-2009, we also get you connected to the Rudisill Amendment so you can do that application to get back some education that you may have lost in the future. So, I mean, we really have all of the processes when it comes to GI Bill. And again, from the day you say I'm interested until you stop calling me, we're there with you every step of the way, walking you through with our connections to VA to do that. And we are the only program that is in WEAMS that's certified or that is capable of accepting GI Bill for Lean Six Sigma, change management, and Scrum. We're it. Took us 2 years to get there, but we're it.
Good. So I just want to circle back a little bit on cool. It's been in transition or flux lately. So how we've always worked it before is a little fragmented from how it's delivered at the podium than how it is in the book, separate from how it is on the slides.
Mhm.
So when cool is a little bit disjointed, people can work out, individuals can reach out to you and begin first steps so that when cool
100%.
comes back to normal, we know what to do within it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. As the government shutdown has put the brakes on both of those programs, but as it opens today, and I would probably say next week where normalcy starts to open, they'll turn back on the AI portals and they'll turn back on the VA portals, in which we can again help you move through all of those, whether it's using the Cool program or the GI Bill program. We're that point of contact.
And then coming from a Department of Labor perspective or lens or workforce development, I do want to touch a little bit about Job Corps was an agency that has done a lot of good and went through some turbulence recently. One of their failings was success stories. When we don't toot our own horn or when we feel awkward about painting our success stories, we really shorten the audience on a possible dream that they could develop on their own. Do you have any success stories or a success story
Oh,
you can share with me?
we could be here for hours on this, and I would encourage anybody to find me on LinkedIn, and I will continue to share more. So overarching, 5 years we've been doing this, 2,000 plus certified personnel that are all in various stages of military careers, transition, and post-military. And they come back. So the stories that I have are not because I've seeked them out, is because they've come back and volunteered the information that they're so happy about. So I can give you a couple right off of the bat. Let's start at the highest rank and move to, actually, you know what? We're going to start at the bottom and move up. So we had an E4 that was getting out, 5 years in service. This was in the Army. Background was logistics, was looking to move to Texas, but was stationed in and around Florida. Found an oil company in Texas that was looking to hire, but the requirement was they had to be trained by an ASQ partner, which is what we are for Lean Six Sigma. So when he did his original application at that point, he had no training. But the application that he found, the job that he wanted, he reached out and said, "Hey, this is who I am. This is my timeline. This is the job that's on the table. What can I do for training?" So we went through the GI Bill because that was a quicker process for him. But we actually started his training prior to the approval. So we assumed a little bit of risk based on his timeline for employment acceptance. Short version, took the course, got into that job. The job was a $96,000 a year starting salary for an E4 with 5 years in. That was a great starting salary. We have an E6 with General Dynamics that was in Colorado, got hired on as a program analyst. Again, came back and said the reason I got hired was because my second interview was a Lean Six Sigma direct question, and they hired him on at 115,000 with a compensation package to relocate to Colorado when he was in Tennessee at the moment. I have a colonel that got hired on at a company, a cybersecurity company down in Florida at 225,000 a year as strategic development for that organization. And it was the credentials that he brought to the table. But it was more than just the credentials, it was the application. So we focus when we train on teaching you how to do this. So when you sit in front of an interview, you don't tell them I passed the bubble chart exam. We give you the examples in training so you have something to talk about. And that's where these success stories are coming from. And I know you mentioned solar earlier. We had an ammo warrant, right? He was Air Force, transitioned to military, was an Army warrant officer focused on ammunition, was at a job fair, had a conversation with NextEra Regional Solar and Solar Power. And the conversation was about process improvement. Lady came around the corner and said, "Tell me where you took this. I've been looking for you." And he said, "Well, I took it from this company." They had a conversation. By the second interview, they hired him into the solar community, even though he was an ammo warrant at about, I think his was 115,000 against starting salary. But this was 3 years ago. Fast forward, he now runs the entire East Coast, living in New York, making well over 200K in a country club, um, membership, all because it started off with these courses. I mean, again, I could sit here for days discussing different success stories that have come out from having these types of certifications that we provide. It's just, and I love hearing them. They're amazing.
I'm a success stories person. I don't always like to talk about my own, but I know that when I allow fear or anxiety or judgment to stop the success stories, what I'm really doing is robbing a larger audience of the ability to dream,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
And
I
you drop
agree.
money, so I'm going to drop money. When it comes to these certifications, usually employers are usually happy to roll out with 90 to 120, like off the gun, off the top. So I'm grateful that you dropped the money first, because in a world where employers and job seekers are always caught in a catch 22,
Yeah.
they don't know where to start. 90 to 120 for me is usually a good number. Do you feel like that would be a good average starting?
It is. So we've polled, I think, 82 people that have come back and told us their stories. Their average offer letters have been 128,000 over those 70 to 80 people that we've had. Some of it, is a coupling of their training and their experience in the military. So some of that does have the play in there as well. But even for those that, again, were in their earlier part of the careers, they're still hitting those upper 90s, low six figures, which, again, just is a great transition. My own personal story, I have been doing it for 24 years, taught in the Army for over 13. My first job hire was at 130K for an aerospace company, but I got to work remotely. I live in Alaska. The company was in North Carolina. So I took the reduced salary because I never wanted to leave my house. Apparently, I like the cold. So, but yeah, I think that's a pretty good. And even still, I mean, you can go on salary.com and just Google median salary of a Lean Six Sigma black belt. And it's going to tell you it's about 135 a year. So, whether you're looking at some kind of larger national statistic or just the experience stories, yeah, I think that's a pretty good starting point. I would actually tell you Scrum is a little bit higher. So if you were to look at the three, you have Lean Six Sigma, Change Management, and Scrum. While they all play together, they are separate certifications. Lean Six Sigma runs about 128, Change Management about 118, Scrums, if you do it well, which is interesting because most military people don't realize just how Scrum oriented they are. They're around 140. If you can get yourself the right position, right job, and you can walk yourself through that interview correctly, um, they pay for that Scrum Master.
And that pivots into the next topic for me that I wanted to bring up or mention a little bit of. As of this recording, I'm usually in front of 50 at a time, whether it's business to business or job seekers. I haven't been able to be one-on-one with businesses or job seekers in about 2 years.
Mhm.
However, once I hear the word project management pop in, to me, they're a dime a dozen. They're the massage therapists of the 90s. Everybody's got a PMP. So
Yes.
those that are interested and are able to showcase their talents, their knowledge, their skills, their abilities,
Mhm.
if PMP is truly in their future, I'll go up to the board and I'll write Scrum, and then I'll hold it until we get to certifications and licenses, and that's when I'll talk a little bit more about Scrum. Is
Yeah.
there anything that you would like to add into why I would write such a four-letter word on the board and not talk about it till the next day? What's your experience with PSM ones?
Yeah, absolutely. So they all live in the same wheelhouse. So there's an umbrella. Project management as a word is an umbrella. PMP is only a faction of what project management is. So a lot of these companies that put out job requisitions, they say, we're hiring a project manager. People's minds default to PMP, but that may not be what they're looking for, right? So you, under this project management umbrella, you do have PMP, you have ACP, which is Agile Certified Practitioner, and then you have Scrum. Scrum is the application of Agile, right? Without getting into a full blown class. But what employers love is the definition of Scrum, lightweight framework focused on improvement and structure. It's baked right in and it has the agility that they need. I mean, the three pillars are transparency, inspection, and adaptation. So PMP has become almost a fear-mongering thing for those of us in transition. And we're told if we don't have it, we won't get hired. That's not real. PMP is a good thing to have. I would never discourage somebody from attempting to go after it. What I would tell you is it's not your silver bullet. And the job market for that is so saturated. Like Derek said, you can't shake a stick without hitting 10 PMPs. And I've watched employers tell people, don't come to me with your PMI, PMP, and expect a job because all that is demonstrated is you know how to take an exam, not that you know how to do project management. And as much as we like to think we're project managers in the military, we're not, we're chaos managers. There is no certification for chaos management. PMP is not it. So PMP is a good thing to have, but Scrum is a project management certification as well, but it is more suited for what industry is looking for out of us, which is agility and adaptation. And that's why it serves as a better purpose. Now, what I would also tell you, if PMP is just that thing where you're like, I hear you, but I have to have it. O2O from Syracuse University, onward to outward or onward to upward program pays for that certification. You don't have to use Cool. You don't have to use your GI Bill. There is a funded program for that because it is such a saturated field. So there's a window to use it. There's more. And again, give me a call and I'll tell you how it works. But PMP is not the savior. And the fact that he writes Scrum down and then comes back to it, I love hearing that because it is project management. It's just not the fear mongering project management.
Good stuff. So overall, we've spoken about a few good things. Scrum managers, we spoke about the various belts. But one of the biggest pieces is one of the biggest shortfalls is I already mentioned a little bit of it with Job Corps,
Mhm.
is tooting our own horn, having the confidence to demonstrate our market value, which is exactly what it is, and when to use it
Mhm.
is either in informational interviews or demonstration interviews. We need to have things lined up to showcase our projects. Do
Right.
you have any best practices, knowledge, skills, or information deliver on how to showcase what they accomplish through your curriculums?
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to what Lean Alaska does, when you're in training with us, we do scenarios and we also take things that you've done while you're in service. And part of our lifetime access is we create a portfolio for you of the things that you have done. We don't teach you how to translate effort, right? That's somebody else's gig. Learn how to speak civilian. That's an effort translation. I teach you how to translate results, right? I saved an organization $1.2 million. I don't care if that's in the Army or stacking toilet paper, that means something to an employer. So we build you a portfolio. We take what you've done, we translate that into results, and we put it inside of the frameworks and structures and methodologies that we certify you in. So at the end of the course, just as he mentioned, you have something to slide across the desk to talk about, right? It's talking about that deployment that you were in charge of, or those ranges that you used to run, or that, DA6 you would use just for staffing purposes, which was nothing more than creating the duty roster, right? So all of it fits in there. And one of the note that I would hit real quick is, as you heard him mention, there's these certifications for industry. So what I've found is every organization has the same three functional areas: people, process, and project, right? Every organization works on those three. They have processes to be complete, people that do them, and projects that manage them. Every organization also has three layers: leadership, management, and the employees, right? These are empirical facts. So if you want to be well-rounded, if you're looking to enter that job market in the most robust sense that you can, ideally, you'd have a certification in each one of those pillars: people, project, process. Process is Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. Project is Scrum. People is certified change management professional or just change management certified, right? You find a certification in all three of those and you've given yourself the bandwidth. Then you're demonstrating experience as a leader, as a manager, and as an employee. And I'm here to tell you, if you've been in the Army for even 2 years, you've got something in all of those levels, just at various stages, right? So that's how you create this robust package to present yourself. You carry your portfolio demonstrating what that looks like in the military. The rest is left to you.
I love it. So again, to me, you are a community resource that provides that helps out with obtaining credentials. Do you have any questions you want your people to see about workforce development and how to find resources at the county level?
Um, I wish I knew the right question to ask. So I think my real question would be, what can you tell them that I don't know? Because the resources that are out there, I watch people jump into jobs by mistake. What I want them to do is deliberately fall into those. And the things that you and I have discussed, there is a deliberate path and a deliberate person to talk to. So, I mean, anything you can share to those that would come through and what they do when they're done with us would be phenomenal.
When they're done with you, things to know is that America's Job Centers are in every county across the United States. You can look them up that are out there. Some markets have a MAC project or a Veterans Village or some sort of a nonprofit employment services agency. And we always want to talk to job developers and case managers here to find out who the frequent flyers are. So these are county by county and can be metropolitan area specific. But the biggest thing is it's not one-stop shopping. It's usually information that's delivered over 6 to 8 weeks. So
Mhm.
your local career centers, your local job centers are usually great places to begin networking. Super networkers can work with BNI International or BNI events that are available in their areas. But it's important to know that employers and job seekers really need to lean on their credentialing agencies or on additional resources in the community to expand that network. One of the biggest things that I've seen out there with the job centers recently is as the boomers age out, they gift businesses to people, right? So you want to talk to the job developers that know who's gifting businesses because none of the younger generation wants to follow in granddaddy's steps is one particular piece. But also knowing entrepreneurship tracks. We network in the job center. So just finding us either at Goodwill Employment Centers, MAC projects, Veterans Villages, or the AJCs. You want to expand your network. And one of the few people that I always forget to love, but I'm actually infatuated with, is the USO.
Mm.
I've heard a few success stories coming out with mock interviews where job seekers can learn to showcase their projects and their portfolios through the USO. So I really want to give them some love too.
Awesome. And maybe one other question is it's easy for me to share success stories of those that are in those positions, but from your side of the fence, what does the industry look like for these credentials? Are they out there actively seeking belts and scrum masters?
Yes, they don't know where to find them. They call them the golden unicorns or the leprechauns, is what recruiters discuss amongst themselves. So the biggest piece is using the word of mouth networks like myself and yourself, those of us that have no skin in the game. I don't care if somebody gets 90 or $120,000. I just want to keep doing what I do for me for school, for you giving back to people, I feel, right? You like
Yes,
what you
100%.
do. So I don't care if they get six figures or they don't, but the using us to kind of pass the word of mouth or reach out to employers specifically, yes, they're out there, but all of these recruiters and talent sourcers and people in culture, they're inundated with thousands of applications written by AI that they just don't know how to find the people. It's people like yourself, Phil, or myself, Derek, that has to reach out to the specific recruiters and say, hey, dig through your stack. Here's the belt you're looking for. Dig through your stack. This is your Scrum Master. This is your PSM1 or other ones. There's a few of them. This is what you asked me for last week, last month, last year. So is there a need? Yes. Is AI perfect? No. Can Scrum Masters and belt people help us? Absolutely. Do recruiters and decision makers know that? Yes. Does it require manual intervention? As of today, it does.
Sure. Yeah, so they're out there for sure. Awesome. Um, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. My only skin in the game is my is no skin in the game. I just want to help. That's all that it is. I created a program I wish would have existed when I transitioned, and um, I can't stand to see anybody having high anxieties or stress markers or indicators as they're trying to move through life. So if I can relieve that even a little bit, that's what I'm here for.
Ditto. Let's go ahead and stop the recording so that we can slap a QR code on it and broadcast the message.
Sounds good.